Keep your head up, you'll be okay. A beautiful day waiting for you. Just open your eyes, you'll see it's true. Good times, sunshine, gonna be here in no time now. Bad times, gray skies, push them all away, turn them upside down. You're gonna break new ground, turn everything around. You're gonna live your life. There's a beautiful day headed your way. Keep your head up, you'll be okay. Beautiful day waiting for you. Just open your eyes, you'll see it's true. A beautiful day.
Welcome back to the Booga Box live stream. It's Thursday, so we're on the large project Thursday. Actually, the next 3 streams after tonight will also be large project, so we'll just have to go with that. But I hope everybody's having a good week, getting ready for their weekend. We got some done on this since last Thursday, probably maybe 5 or 6 lines. I need to start marking down where I stop on a stream so I know how much I got done between streams. But we're going to go ahead and get back into it, I guess, real quick before we do it, so I can, when I do my editing, that's what we're going with. We got up to, we're just into right here in the F or so, so hopefully we'll finish up that here pretty soon. Just a quick gander at that one, and I'll go ahead and start getting into it here. I was, like always, planning hopefully to get more done since last Thursday, but I actually got more done than I figured I would once the week started going. Just with all the orders and everything else, you know, this kind of got put to the back burner again, but I did get some time in on it. A couple hours anyway, so starting to come along. We'll unfold it here at the end. I kind of got it rolled up right now. You can kind of see the letters, you just can't see the end zone lines and sideline lines. Starting to run out of room already once I get this stretched out, so it's going to be a pretty big piece, but hopefully we'll get it going. And like I said, next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're just going to work on this so I can pack all the other stuff up and have it ready for moving around. Figured it'd be the easiest thing to do to get more done, to rearrange the whole work area. But don't forget to give us likes and shares and hearts and thumbs ups and all that good stuff. You can find us over on Twitch and YouTube also. If you got accounts over there, find us over there and subscribe to us there too. More the merrier. And actually next Thursday, we're going to probably just work an hour on this since we're going to do the 2 days before it. And the last half hour or so of next Thursday, we're going to do a few giveaways if we get enough people here. So hopefully people will show up, and next Thursday is actually my cutoff date for shipping any Christmas stuff, guaranteed to get there before Christmas. You can still order after that point, but even during the moving stuff I'm doing, you can still make orders. Those might be a little delayed, but after the 16th, everything, you know, you might get it before Christmas, can't guarantee it though, just because of shipping. You never know with them anymore, and depending on what size piece you got going anyway too, so if you do have any orders you want to get in, get those coming in, get them placed so I can get them created or whatever, be it chainmail or the laser etch stuff. That's I've actually been almost laser etching every day along with doing chainmail, so it's been a pretty productive few weeks actually when it comes to making stuff for people. Now making stuff for the stream and my own stock, that's a little different story. But it's coming along, this end zone. Like I said, once we get done, there's going to be 20,000 rings. Don't exactly know what size it'll be, but it'll probably be roughly 36 inches long. And right now, after we finish this is row 64. So we'll have 6,400 rings as soon as we finish this row up. And I'm not sure how many hours yet. I normally would keep track of that on a basic basis, but since I'm videotaping everything I'm doing on this so I can make a time lapse, I can much easier grab the time from the video. Once I put it all together and stuff, it's a little easier to do it that way when it comes to a bigger project like this. So I don't have to keep track of all the days and hours. I can just pull the video into the program and it'll tell me how much is there after I edit out all the non-working time, which is fairly easy, just beginning and end normally, a few times here in the middle, but it's coming along. I'm liking it. Hope y'all like it when it's done also. Like I said, this is part 2 of minimum of 8 larger pieces and probably 3 to 4 smaller little pieces. No bigger than probably, about this big or so. But it could go expanded into, add another 5 onto that. I'm unsure yet till I get it. I need to get at least 4 of my main pieces done, and then I can kind of average out where I'm going to put stuff and all that. So, like I said, when I finally get there, I'll be making actually 2 of these, because this is going to be the ends to the piece. Is my Chief's end zone on one side and one on the other side. So eventually I'll have to do another one of these. But I did get in all my bronze, champagne, black ice, and stuff for doing my next inlay. So as soon as this one gets done, we'll be going right into the next Chief's inlay. I know it'll probably be Chief's inlay for a while. Unless I get an order for an inlay, then I would stop and go work on it, obviously. Well, unless they didn't want it to be streamed. Like I said, if you ever make any orders or want to see something streamed... Oh man, I did it again. Put in 2 greens where it should have been 2 white. I've done that several times now. I get into jibber-jabbering and forget where I'm at. Make sure, okay, yeah. That one's there. Oh yeah. Let's get that background stuff going. Hopefully it's not too loud. Can never tell till I listen to it later, and every day it's a little different since I don't have it programmed into the program to automatically do it. Hopefully that will also change when we do the change up. Like I said, if you haven't joined us, oh yeah, real quick, I'll bring out, if you weren't here with us last night, I did my Mega Chanian. I made him a Santa hat last night during our stream. So, Santa hat for my Mega Chanian. He wanted to feel festive, so we gave him a hat. But, yeah, we're going to take a little over 2 weeks off. 16th will be our last stream for the year, and we'll probably, I'm hoping to come back by January 3rd should be that first Monday in January. We should be back to our normal streaming nights, but we're in the process of rearranging the whole work area here, making some major changes. Hopefully it'll free up some space and make some things easier, more so on the laser side, but for ease of use anyway. Now for the chainmail side, I'm going to have more room, but I'm also going to be able to have better placements for cameras. So actually starting on the 3rd, I should have a camera that I can focus on myself. I hate doing that anyway, but we're going to. So we'll have that going. A few other minor changes to that, and some new stuff coming in. So when we come back, we'll have some cool stuff to get going and things we can show for a little bit. Now, in the meantime, between the 16th and the 3rd of January, there might be the occasional quick stream, more so for testing purposes once I get some things moved. They're not going to be scheduled, so they could happen during the day, night. It just kind of depends on where I'm at and where I want to test. So there could be some of those crazy streams. just pop up out of nowhere. Like I said, since I'll have to be rewiring everything and all that, and I'm going to test it all before we come back on the 3rd, so. Alright, so yeah, that made us at 6,400 rings. This is row 65 of 202, I believe it was. So, not too much longer, I'll be into halfway. I want to get to halfway before we stop next week, but I don't know if we'll see. That's about, what, 40, 30, 35 rows. So, I don't know, it just depends on how much I can get in this next week, I guess. But if we're working on it Monday, working on it Wednesday, that'll help matters. I'd like to get into the hash mark for on the field part that we're doing, and once we get to the middle hash mark, that'll be, I guess, almost the E would be done by then, so. Even though you're only seeing 2 little parts of the F right now, it comes together rather quickly. I mean, even though that's several rows, but hopefully, like I said, this week, I got a lot of, we still got to get our Christmas stuff up here this weekend, and a few other things, but I'm hoping I should get some time into getting some chainmail done for sure. I know I've got some laser stuff to do tomorrow. Normally Friday mornings I'll do a lot of laser stuff, even though I did have the laser on earlier today too, so. Like I said, I've almost had it on every day, just to kind of keep up, because if I didn't, I would have a boatload on Friday, and it might go into Saturday, so I had to adjust how I do my laser work right now. But that's all good, you know. Any kind of sale is a good sale, I think. But, see, it got really nice today, too. Boy, I tell you what. Sounded like Hank Hill. Boy, I'll tell you what. It was nice today. I was almost ready to put on shorts. We got up to like 66, 65, somewhere in there. I think tomorrow we're supposed to be at 68 again. Still seeing one day next week in the 70s, so it's like, I guess it gives me a good thing. I can get some stuff done, but maybe get up some lights. We normally don't put up a whole lot of lights anyway, but we put up one of those motion things that shine on the house, and daughter's got a penguin she wants to set up, a blow-up penguin thing, and I normally I concocted my own waterproof container things to hold my cords and stuff to run them out there, but I bought a couple boxes this year that should make that a lot easier. And just as I get older, I'd rather it be easier than, I wouldn't say cheaper. And the equipment was actually fairly cheap. Little waterproof boxes and stuff were compared, but well, a lot less work to do them up every year myself, because once I do them, they're kind of just there. When I take them apart, they're, take a bit of work to get them back together again. So these should be nice and quick and easy, so that'll be nice to get done this year. Just keep putting it off, and just all the craziness around the house and all that. So it looks like everything's going well tonight. I know last night I was having some weird glitching problems in my system. It ended up being in the video too, and I was like, no, yeah, it can't happen for a night when I'm working on the inlay. So I rebooted the system, checked everything out, and running my normal 7 to 8% oh, excuse me, CPU, and everything seems to be going good. If you have any glitches, just let me know. Definitely want to take care of them. But yeah, that was the other reason, so I could pull the cameras down. That's one thing I'm gonna do tonight, is get these other cameras pulled down, pull their wiring out, and get that put up. That's the other thing this weekend. I'm gonna have getting a lot of packing done this weekend. So after next week, next Thursday, I can just start making the major moves. And laser systems will be definitely down for minimum 4 or 5 days, probably starting on the Saturday. That would that be the 16th, 17th, 18th? So I can still take the orders, but they would definitely be delayed on the laser side of things. Chainmail orders will be a little bit easier to take care of because I can work on the chainmail throughout the house. But laser stuff will... gonna redo the ducting of it, add some more in, and all that. So I'm gonna completely remove the lasers and put them in the other storage room for a few days as I make some changes, and then bring them back in. And that's always a process with all the cooling buckets you need and all that stuff. That's a process, and then I'll probably have to take a couple days to realign all my mirrors and stuff, because that's one thing with a laser system. You give it any moving, it gets any vibrations, any type of tweaking, it'll kind of go a little funky on you. You know, I forgot to count these out. So there's always minor adjustments to the laser once I get it back going. But once it gets back going, like I said, it should be much easier to work in and get working every day when needed compared to what it takes now, which will be nice. Again, I'll probably be able to play with some more things, but I got several new laser roll products coming. So, alright, let me get my counts here real quick. So it's 22, so it's the same as before, so I guess I really don't need to count them. Stop at the same place I did before. For a few more lines anyway, before I have to adjust that part. Ooh, I need to check my YouTube here. Okay, here, it's back open. I don't know how it got closed. That's the other, I'm still debating on doing the restreamer thing so I can have all my streams into one area, and don't have to look across multiple screens to look for comments or anything. I can't do it with the business page on Facebook with their free stuff, so I'm going to have to pay for it. And at first I didn't want to, now I still don't necessarily want to, because I'm actually doing it right now where I'm streaming to all 3 places. I just got to look more places to see everything. So if I get that going, fixed up, and need to figure out price-wise what everything's going to be, so see if it's going to be necessarily still cost-effective. I definitely like to get them all into one, so I don't have so much setup per se to do, because there's always just the time of getting the cameras and everything going anyway, but then to set up all the windows for the different places that I'm streaming it to, it's kind of a booger every day in a way. I mean, it's a 30-minute job. By the time I'm done, I normally make sure by 7 I need to be loading up my windows and going to each one of those places and giving the description and all that. With a restreamer, a stream place like that, all that would just be in the one and be sent to all those. So it'd make that part a little quicker for sure. But we'll see how that goes. That's one thing I'll test once we get everything set back up and going. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think it's going to make some things quite a bit easier. And just more workspace. I mean, not really getting rid of anything. I'm going to be moving a few things out of the room that will open up some space, but just everything that I currently have, it's been the last 5 years, have just kind of been fitted into the area. So now I've kind of got little walkways in the areas, and I'd like to open that up. And now we're on to red, right? Yeah. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Now I don't know if I got it shared to my page or not tonight. I don't think I've shared it in a while to my page, so I was wanting to tonight, but again, I was having to look between 2 systems or 2 monitors, and I missed if it came up saying, yeah, you posted to your wall. I'm not sure if I did or not. Because before I do that, did I? Okay, yeah, I did. I got to switch to my personal profile within the video here to be able to do that to begin with. So that's always a bit of a booger too. Because if I don't do that, it wants to post it to the Booga Box page, which it's already there because it's streaming. And like I said, don't forget to give likes and shares. The more we get, the better. I'm trying to get to the 500 followers on Facebook right now. Once we get there, I'm going to do some maybe surprising larger giveaways. Just cause. So, I mean, I expect that to still take a while, but, you know, we just recently got up to 300, and we're about 310, I think, now. Get one or two a week. So, you know, whatever we can get, that's good, too. And if you guys drop in and check us out, and you're just watching it later, you know, whatever works for you is good with me, too. And it's good to have people show up and chat with you, but don't have to. I mean, there's sometimes I watch some of the other chainmail streams where I'll end up just watching it and having it go, so I'm listening to it while I'm working on some of my own pieces, so I can get that when people got other things going on. But it's still good to have y'all. I do appreciate it. You just sit here and bend some rings. And I did have a bunch of weirdos show up on YouTube's stream last night, posting things I still don't know what they meant. I just ignore them. Alright. Wonder... Yeah, still got a couple, I guess, before we get to the end of the input here, the F. Just a bit. Not too much, though. Oh, I got a thingy popped up here. What's going on? Oh, looks like the daughter's sending me a private message. I'll move that real quick. Always pops up right over my Facebook comments, so then I can't see what's going on. Seems like there was one night maybe a month or so ago now, John had sent me a message while he was in there with chatting on the Facebook chat, but the other box popped up because he sent a private message, and I kept looking back at the box and it was the same thing over and over and over, so I thought he stopped talking to me in there. It wasn't until I got done with the stream when I realized, oh, that's a private message box that popped up over everything. So I sent him a message and apologized, because he was still sitting there talking and I didn't see it at all. Still after the stream, like I said. Let's see here, 8 more. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. This is row 65, yeah. It's coming along, it's coming along. I was hoping to have it done before the end of the year, and it probably would have been, but orders take precedent, so I had quite a few orders this year to take care of. And then we had the big band order of, well, we started out with 68, I think? And by the time we were actually done, because since the big order of that, I've done at least another 12 more for the band, with some late orders and stuff, but, you know, they can do that with my stuff, kind of, because, you know, it's harder to do that with a bigger company that wants everything all at once, so they can make the big run, and it makes it nicer, granted, but it's something I can still do the smalls. Because most of my orders when it comes to laser etching are just single cups. You know, on occasion I'll get a double cup here and there, and well, that are the same, I should say. I've had several people order 3 or 4 cups at a time, and all of them different, with different things on them for different people, so that's all good. But a lot of times I just get the single order. So, and if you ever want one, let me know. You can go check out some of the pictures I've got out there, see the colors, and basically whatever you want on it, we can do. You just kind of let me know, and I'll work up graphics for you. And I actually did a coffee cup too last week. Haven't had a lot of those. Haven't really pushed out the coffee cups as much as I had the tumblers, but they're double insulated coffee mugs too, and I can laser etch. Come out really nice. And like those, anything can be put on them. I've got the bigger 32 hydro bottles, same thing. Put it pretty much whatever you want on them. Actually, that's one of the other new items I got too. Is I got some 12-ounce cups. They're flat, but they're kind of rounded up on the sides. I think they consider them. A lot of people call them wine tumblers, but they don't have to be used just for wine. So I don't want to call them wine tumblers. It's kind of like the glass beer mugs that I have. I don't want to call them beer mugs because they can be used for more than just beer. I've got a couple, and I don't drink beer. Not a big alcohol drinker, to be honest with you. I have no problem with alcohol. I drank a bit when I was younger. Did stupid stuff, so it's like, yeah, drinking is not for me. So, on occasion, I'll drink, but I'm trying to even remember the last time I actually had any alcohol was probably 4 years ago now. Had bought some when me and my wife went on out to the cabin for our anniversary, and that's the last time I even had any then. And I didn't even drink hardly any then. Not enough to get drunk or anything, that's for sure. Just never been a big drinker. Well, when I was younger, but for the most part, I don't have any problem with it. I don't mind being around people that drink or anything like that either, so just not kind of my thing. And normally it doesn't take much to get me kind of drunk, and then the next day I regret it by a lot, so it's like, why keep having those regrets the next day? Keep it a little bit like I do when I do drink. I normally don't have a problem next day anyway, so. It's about like New Year's, people go out and party and all that, and I'm like, New Year's I normally spend at home. I think the last many years I've been at home doing chainmail during the New Year. I'll take a quick break as it comes around, and who's ever at the house, the wife and whatever the kids, if they're home, because they didn't go out and do something, then we'll welcome in the new year together real quick for that. But alright, up to the lights. Where are we at here tonight? Not even a half an hour yet. 27 minutes, sweet. So basically almost got a row done. Well, we have probably got more than a row done because we only had a little bit on the other end here to finish off that row. And this will be the first full row, I guess, during the stream. But overall, we've done more than 100 rings so far. Like I said, here at the end, we'll give this kind of a stretch out and see how much we can get into the camera view for now. I know there's going to be a point where it's going to be hard to get it all in the camera view, even once I make the change, just because I'll still be working off this desk, or at least one of my benches here. They're identical benches, so we're going to make some moving around, and it'll give me more room in a way, but I'll still have camera angle view room will pretty much be the same on that. Maybe I could probably go a little bit wider because I'll have more vertical area I can put my main camera, but it still probably won't be big enough for this full thing once it gets done. Because I'm guessing on, I guess when I get to halfway I could give it a quick measure and see how long it is at that point and then double it, and it should be about how long it's going to be. I just know how long in rings it's going to be. Actual physical size, I don't know yet. I kind of got a basic idea, and we go with that. I'm not sure if I'm going to add a border around to the whole thing yet or not. Kind of wait until I start getting it together. That's part of the problem I'm having right now on making all these things and what size I want them, because I just don't know until I get several of the pieces that I can actually lay out and kind of start looking at it together. Do I want to add something? Do I want to change something? So it could go more pieces overall by the time I'm done, but hopefully, I imagine I'll probably have to spend most of next year doing these inlays for that to get finally finished up, because they can take quite a while. But I figure this one's going to be approximately 80 something hours, I believe, to finish it from start to finish. I did oops, wrong one. I did give myself a time and try to figure that off my average times to figure out how long it was going to take. Was it? Yeah, because it was. Yeah, I think it was 84 hours. If everything goes smooth enough and all that, no major issues. Alright, that row's done. Let me mark it off. That was row 65, so we're now at 6,500. Working on row 66. Row 66. Oh, that's route 66. It's like there's a song, something like that out there. Route 66. We're on row 66. It won't be quite as long as that road. Oh, where are we at here? Everything, about the 2% drop frame rate, so that's still not bad. So, but I'm not seeing the glitching that I was last night in my YouTube when I keep looking up at it. I haven't watched it constantly though. When I try to watch it constantly, it looks frozen because nothing's moving. Because I'm watching it instead of weaving. But although I'm looking forward to my next inlay, because it's another portrait inlay. And I kind of dig those. I mean, I like all my inlays, no matter what they are, but those are a little more intricate. They take a little more time just because of the ring changing colors so often compared to this, which is little groups, white, green, a little bit of red, and then basic green again out to finish out. But the ones where you're changing colors almost every other ring sometimes takes a little bit longer, but once you're done, it's just cool looking. So eventually I want to do a TARDIS, and a fairly large one. I would say probably roughly about the size of this. It'd probably be a little bit wider, but I'd want it to probably be about as tall. And I still haven't laid it out or anything and done that for it yet, but something I do plan on doing at some point in my inlay future. Like I said, inlays are quite a bit of work. They're fun, but they definitely are a little bit of work. Compared to last night we made that almost the whole hat. I had my first two bottom rows of my Santa hat for the chain in before the stream started, and it took us, I think, an hour 15 after that to finish it up. So, bracelets, depending on the weave, you can get those done a half hour to an hour and a half. Necklaces a little bit longer. I haven't even calculated the time on my jelly cube yet. I haven't gotten anything done on it since the last time we streamed on the jelly cube. That's another thing I'm hoping to slowly get some work on. If I don't have a lot of orders, that's what I'm going to try to work out, the stream nights with other things, but then I want to try to do the jelly cube. I'm thinking I might be able to do after the new year when I won't have as many laser orders. I can do on like Monday, or on a Tuesday night or something. I can kind of play around with that one. Same as the above. Try to make sure I get the right count here. I know that the first ever inlay I made, I had a lot of mess ups. I wasn't paying attention to certain things. And it was smaller. It was, not very big. It was the music treble clef that I've made actually several of now. But that was the first ever inlay I did. It was kind of small. Then it got better and better. And then when I did the 3/16 16 gauge W for Winnetonka, it ended up being about a 12 by 12, 11 by 11 inlay, but using small rings that were super tight. I had a major screw up on that one. But, you know, my Holmes one actually came together fairly well. Jersey was actually pretty easy, and since then, you know, I've learned more on inlays and how to get the designs up for them and all that, and it's become easier. And you know, when you're freehanding it from a picture, sometimes it can be a pain. I will say it can be a pain. But once you got the idea and you can make out your design and get you some ring counts and stuff, it starts to become much easier on your final, just putting it together. Because, I mean, I probably spent 2 days, probably about 10 hours of work to design this piece itself, get it into the right proportions it needed to be, get the ring counts and everything for it. But, you know, now that all that work's done, now it's just a matter of putting it together, which is the long work we're doing now. But it'd probably be more difficult if I didn't have my, you know, ring count charts and picture of it, so I can verify as I go along where I might have screwed up if I screw up. Oh yeah, we finished up. You know, I still haven't got pictures of that, and I put it up already. The chessboard. I took a quick bench top picture, but I never got it set up and got me a good picture of that yet. I keep forgetting to do that. I forgot that was the last. This is not really an inlay, but it is. I mean, it was a chessboard, and it's got different things, so it was an inlay. It was a European 6-in-1 inlay, using larger rings, but 6-in-1's going to take more rings, so. But it came out nice. I need to get pictures of that thing. I was happy with it. I've been wanting to do it for a while, so I was glad to finally get it done. Yeah, that ring's got a cut in it. It's like, that looks awful weird. It wasn't from my doing. It was from their doing. Alright, next one's 4, 6, 7, 8. Alright. Yeah, I mean, I've actually gotten so busy, I haven't been racing on my Sunday nights. I normally would take Sunday night out, give me some hours to do some racing online, and I've been so busy lately, haven't been able to do that too. I've been actually during the Chiefs games, even when the Chiefs games are on, I'm still working, doing stuff. I try to work it out where I'm not missing too much, and most of the time I'm doing laser work, which makes it a little bit easier, but yeah, I haven't even had time to do that the last 3 or 4 weeks. Which I definitely kind of miss in a way, but also with my hands. Working on the chainmail, it's a little harder to go from chainmail to racing back to chainmail. They all wear out my hands. So I need to actually get in there and chat with some of my buddies and let them know I'm still here. I've just been busy. Because I haven't actually turned on the PlayStation in probably a good 3 weeks. Maybe 3.5 weeks now. This might be the 4th week actually coming up. I know it's been a while. I was in a series of races, and it was like midway through, and I was like, this is going to be a nice series, and I was looking forward to it, and I was doing somewhat okay in the series. I'm racing a lot of people that are really good. But yeah, I just couldn't keep up with it with everything else going on, so I had to, you know, that was the first thing that had to go pause. Like, you know, streams can go pause, but, you know, my extra time goes pause first before anything else. So, where are we at here? We're at 38? Yeah. We're doing good. We should be able to maybe get in this line and one more. We'll see where we're at the end of this. At the end of this line here. Make sure. Okay, yeah, it's going to be the next row. So I'm going to change up some of that. Because we're going to start closing up the center of this F here on the next row. Minor change. Let me go ahead and mark what I've done so far off so I know where I'm at. Got the first 8. Alright. Just so I can keep a track. get too far off, and then I'm wondering what row I'm on. I had a problem when I was up top here, when it was just the same row after row, and my number chart was just the same row after row. I'd forget sometimes because I'd just do like a little typewriter. Lose track of where I was, so I'd have to stop every once in a while, give me a count out, and see exactly where I was. And I mean, there are many different ways. I've actually, the first couple ones I did, I used to do my inlays where I'd close up some and have an open one, and when I hooked this one up, I'd hook the 2 rings below it up. And overall, it ended up being about the same time-wise to do it, but I had a lot more screw-ups too. And I think that's when I went to start doing the single rows at a time. I had less problems with screw-ups. Now, it was more, the more detailed, the more screwed up you could go quickly. When it was less, it was a little easier to tell, but just like I did there. I got so talkative. Where are you at? Where are you at, closure? I can't even feel it. I know you're there. I mean, it's good to have a good closure, but come on, where are you at? Alright, you might have a headshot here, because I cannot find it by feel. There it is. Barely could see it. That's always good when you can't find a closure. You got a good closure going. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Oh, just see my own head in there. It's pain if you ever got to take apart something that you have good closures on, because it's harder to find the closures. But it always makes you feel good too, because like, that was a darn good closure. I mean, you always try for the best you can get. Some are maybe just a little bit off, and as a chainmailer, you notice your own work when it's a little off compared to, other people will look at it and not even notice it, but you notice. Just because, this is what you do every day. That's why I go see other chainmailers. There's some good chainmailers out there. I've seen some great work from people that work on their closures really well. But I've also seen some bad chainmail out there too. All depends on the rings and material you're using. And finding the bad one. I've seen some good closures on this one person's. I'm not going to ever mention any names of these. These have all been local or shows that I've gone to and seen. But they got good closures, but you also notice they have a lot of tool marks on their rings afterwards. And that's one of the other things you have to watch out. When you're doing these, you don't want to, where you're applying pressure with your pliers, if you're applying too much pressure and stuff, you can kind of deform the ring a little bit, give them little dents sometimes. So you got to watch out for that. I mean, there's you think it's just open and closing rings, which seems fairly easy, but there is actually quite a bit to it. Now, when you're working with stainless steel, you normally don't have to deal with that. Because you can use, these are flat-jawed pliers, there's no grips or anything, they're just smooth jaw, So you got to watch. You've seen me slip off some rings before, and that'll happen. And scratch up the aluminum anodizing, but stainless steel, you normally are using some big old heavy-duty pliers that have teeth, because you're not going to mark them up. If you mark up a stainless steel ring with your pliers, then you've got some arms of steel. Wrists of steel, hands of steel, whatever you want to call it, because I've grabbed them and actually tried to mess them up, and yeah, I mean, at least the stainless steel I work with. There is softer stainless steel out there that you could screw up a little easier, but if you get some good stainless steel, it's really hard to screw up a stainless steel ring. Now, fine silver, on the other hand, it takes a little more finesse, even more so than aluminum in my mind. Anodized aluminum, because it's softer. You can definitely deform it a lot easier. I mean, that means you can open and close it easier, but that's why when I'm working with fine silver, I got some argentium coming, and you weld it up, then that's just another thing you've got to put into the factor of everything is welding it up, and hope your weld goes good. Because there's occasion you get a bad weld and stuff, and then you have to cut that ring out and get you another ring in, so there's a little bit more waste in a way. But when you're making up your own rings, you don't have to necessarily worry about that as much. Your waste, I've got my own special waste bucket for silver items. Thinking about at some point trying to do a meltdown of my silver and make my own little mold to make something out of the leftover silver that I had, the unused silver, and little ends from coils, or even when you cut them, especially when I don't do a clip, I got a little saw that'll do it. You're always going to have a little piece here and there that's left over from doing your coils and cutting. And I use some of the smaller wire I use for ear hooks if somebody wants silver for their ear hooks, but I use niobium for all my ear hooks anymore, so which is nice because you can anodize those up into the colors to maybe not exact match, but unless you're working with niobium rings. But otherwise I use a plain niobium. It's not like a bright silver, and pretty looking, but I'll tell you what, you get those cheap things, cheap earring hooks from Walmart and stuff, even on some of their jewelry. After just a little bit, they get all tarnished up and they don't look all bright and silver anymore, so it drives me nuts. And with niobium, my niobium ones, they don't get, whatever color you buy them at, it's pretty much the same color they're going to be at a couple years from then. Now, if you want them anodized, the anodization can wear off of them a bit. Depending on, everybody's person's a little bit different. So it's a non-reactive metal to humans. So what I like about them is nobody's going to have an allergic reaction to them. They're using niobium more and more for screws and stuff inside you, because titanium is nice, but there are still people that it can be allergic to it. But from what I understand, niobium isn't like that. So that's what I use for my ear hooks. I've never actually had anybody have a problem with their ear hooks. Wife had one problem, she told me once, and it turned out she just needed to clean them. They'd been sitting and hanging on her thing, and they were kind of covered in dust. It was the dust that was irritating her. So they're nice hooks, and if you are the chemical person that the color might wear off of a niobium ear hook or rings, what's nice about them is you can always re-anodize them. That's a fairly quick and easy process. I mean, there's a little bit of time to get your niobium anodizing set up, but once it's set up and everything, it's a fairly easy process to go through, and you can do a bunch of rings at once or a bunch of ear hooks at once. Biggest thing is just changing up the colors, wondering how many of these colors do I want, how many of those colors do I want. I'm going to have to go grab that stupid phone. It's going to keep going off, a security camera. I guess the daughter got back, and it keeps reminding me, you had a security thing. I wish I could micromanage the notifications on the phone, because sometimes it's like, I know there's a lot of other things you can do, but with setting up certain times to not notify you and stuff like that, but I think there's only, last time I looked, it was only, you can only do that once, and normally you do that for an overnight thing, which I don't have set up. But if you could do that multiple times a day, and there might be actually, when it comes to smartphones, I'm dumb. I know my computers, I know how to build computers, I know a lot of, do some website work, I know computers pretty well, but cell phones, I'm just a dummy. They drive me nuts anyway, so I haven't, if I spent the time trying to figure it out, I'm sure I'd figure it out, no problem, but that's just a matter of more stuff that I have lined up in front of that before I'd want to learn it. is it took me forever just to figure out how to turn on a notification if you missed a call, to let it remind you that because I don't always have my phone on me. When I'm around the house, it just kind of stays on the desk. I don't take it with me anywhere, so if I miss a call, I'd come back or text, and I wouldn't know I had one unless I picked up the phone and looked at it. And then I had to finally look up. It took me about 3 or 4 hours to finally find the right information I needed to find to show me how to set it up where it would keep beeping at you until you actually look at it when you missed a call or a text. Because there was a few days there that people were texting me, and I wasn't by the phone when the text came in. And I don't pick up my phone unless somebody calls, for the most part. Or gives me a text and I'm there and see it. Otherwise, there can be days that I don't touch the cell phone. Because if I'm not leaving the house, I work at home, so I don't need to leave often. But even when I'd leave, I know it was about a month and a half ago, the phone actually went dead and I didn't even know it. I forgot I hadn't plugged it in. I hadn't used it. Nobody had texted me. And so for 2.5 days, it was pretty much dead, and people were texting me, and I wasn't getting anything. I didn't know. I took it with me out when I went out one day, and I never even turned it on then. And this was on my older phone before I got my new phone here just a few weeks ago, and the notifications on my security worked a lot different than this new phone since I reinstalled this new program for it. I definitely don't like it as much as I did the other one, but it didn't necessarily notify me of those, and it wasn't until I had a band parent email me, and yeah, we sent a text a couple days ago, and was just wondering. I was like, oh, you did? And I went to grab my phone and I tried turning it on and it wouldn't come on. I was like, oh, my phone's dead. And I told them the same thing. I was like, if I don't get messages and I'm right beside it and it doesn't remind me, I won't turn on the phone. And so, yeah, it was dead for about 2.5 days. Charged it up and it started beeping, going crazy there for about a half an hour, loading up all the messages that I'd missed and all that. So, when it comes to the cell phone, I'm dumb. I don't have it set up for doing any emails or anything like that. To be honest with you, the only reason I have a smartphone is for my Square reader at events. If it wasn't for that, I'd still have an old flip phone. I kind of miss my old flip phone. There are definitely things about it I like better than these, but it didn't do any extras. It was a phone, that's all I wanted. That's kind of still all I do want now, but if I want to have, credit sales at events, I kind of had to have a smartphone, so then I finally got into a smartphone. Hated it ever since. I even got a tablet that I don't really use. It sits up here, it's on my workbench. Sometimes I'll play some music through it, but 90% of its job is to tell me the time and use the stopwatch in it. It's just quick and easy since it's touch, you just go up there, stop, start. So that's what it pretty much does. I don't really do a whole lot more on it. Now, desktop, on the other hand, I work on that thing all the time. Like I said, I write code for my websites and do tons of graphic work, do tons of video work. That's all the video I do for the band and all that, so that I know. That I'm good at. So I run my own site. I help, I basically put in any information they want. I run the band website for the band parents, for the school band. Set up all their stuff for them so they can have it easier, but there's also the turnover, because band parents, after 4 years, their kids graduate, so through the years, I've gone through a lot of band presidents and stuff, so try to set it up easy enough where they can make switches overs, and they don't have to have somebody always constantly know how to work that and have to find somebody to keep up the web pages and all that. So that was one of the other things I volunteered to do. It's like, it'd make it easier for you all not having to find somebody that knows web work and can do that, and then there's the constant changing between them. Everybody's going to work a little different. it's like, you know, if I just do it for y'all, you know, I can do those changes for you whenever there's new officers and all that. Make it quite a bit easier, I think, for them. Sometimes I think they kind of forget about that kind of thing, since they don't have to look for somebody to do the website for them anymore. And now we've got to, you know, before it was set up, when I took over for the person who done it before, it was kind of manual to set up the email lists and stuff, and I've changed all that up so that people can automatically sign up for the email list for the band information. They can easily unsubscribe from it. That was one of the other things every year. I'd get a lot of people going, yeah, our kid graduated, we don't need these emails, so then I have to manually go through, delete them out of the system. So I changed all that up, so quick and easy, somebody can sign up and unsubscribe on their own and not have to worry about interacting through me, and I did it again. I need 2 whites there. Where are we at here? Almost an hour, 55 minutes. Sweet. We should be able to do one more row. We're getting in about a half an hour row here, so another half an hour. We should be able to finish it up before 9 o'clock tonight. 9 o'clock my time. Which does remind me, if you're into watching some chainmail and having fun with it, I don't know if he's streaming tonight or not, but Sean over at Mailworks normally streams at 9 o'clock my time, and I'll have to type in his thing here in a second. I'll do that as soon as I finish this row. I'm going to mark off my row. But go over there, give him a subscribe. He does awesome chainmail work, is what he does in the streams, but during his main business is printed material chainmail, shirts, hats, gloves, shoes, leggings, just a variety of stuff, puzzles, just really cool stuff. I've actually got another order of his stuff coming. Let's see here, I might have to type it all the way out again today. I'm kind of getting used to just doing it that way anymore. So there's Mailworks, a link over to Mailworks. That should link him up. But go check out Mailworks. Like I said, he's got some cool stuff over there. Always adding stuff too. But he's a good guy, and like I said, his business is more on the printed type stuff. But during his streams, he does actual chainmailing. He's a chainmailer at heart, so you have to go check out his stuff and watch some of his streams. It's fun. I normally am over there too. Sometimes I'm not always chatting, but I normally try to start it up. I'll miss one occasionally here and there, every couple weeks, but I will normally make up for it and watch it later. Like with even my streams, you can always come back and look for a stream that you might have missed, or if there's a stream you want to rewatch, something in it that you've seen. All my streams are up on YouTube and Facebook. Twitch only keeps them for like a week or so, I think. Your last couple for the last week or so. So can't say go over to Twitch and find them, but if it's within the week, you can spend the weekend on Twitch and go watch that week's streams. Well, looks like I might have a YouTube viewer. I don't see any chat on there, but thank you for joining us over there on the YouTube land. Looks like I might have one on Twitch too tonight. I've had quite a few on Facebook too tonight. You can never tell who's here unless you say howdy. If you ever say howdy, I'll say howdy back. But glad you're here, even if you're just lurking. You don't have to post, but it's good to have y'all. Like I said, it's always kind of a little more difficult to see who's here unless they post, but sometimes, you know, those numbers might not be right, though. You never know with any of these things. Sometimes it's like, what was it? YouTube 3 or 4 weeks ago? What was that? That was a weird beeper bleep. It said I only had, I think it was 2 people in the room, but I had 3 people chatting. And I was like, how are they chatting, but they don't show up as a person viewing? Even, like I said, I can never tell the person themselves viewing. It just gives me a number saying this many people are viewing you. So that was a little weird that week. But we had a pretty good group tonight. And like I said, I'm going to need to make a post about this. Next Thursday night, we're going to do a few giveaways right before Christmas. We're going to do a little Christmas giveaway. Do a few items. We'll work a little bit on the chainmail. But then we'll stop early. And at the end of doing the chainmail, we'll do a few quick giveaways to end out our year. It's hard to believe I've been doing this for, what are we on, about 9 months now doing the streams. It's actually kind of been flying by. When I first started, it was so weird doing, and I'm getting more and more comfortable doing them. I'm kind of having fun with them, trying to do some different things. So if you all ever have any ideas or something, just drop me a message, let me know. Say, hey, why don't you try this, why don't you do that? I'm more than willing to take in some thoughts and ideas on how to improve the stream, make it more fun. I mean, I'm pretty much, sitting here mailing all the time. Really don't stop and do too much other, but, I guess in the first few I was showing some of the old videos. I'd pull them into the stream a few times with my coil and jig and my ringinator cutting. And I guess I don't have a video yet of my Pepe tools. I only use it for fine metals like silver. Would use it on gold if I ever sold something in gold, but I haven't sold anything in gold yet. Gold rings can get expensive. Quite expensive. But I'd use it for that. When I do smaller things like that, I like to use on my little Pepe cutter. Just easier to work with. The ringinator's great if you've got a lot to do. But if you're just making a small run of stuff, sometimes I'll even just use the Pepe with aluminum to test out a size. If I'm working on something and the sizes aren't working and I need a different size ring, I can just coil me up a little short thing, throw it in the Pepe, cut it up, see if it works. So, I mean, it comes in handy. It gets a lot less use, but it comes in handy. It's something I'm glad I did. Definitely glad I have. It'll help with those quick just tests. And, if I find out that's the ring size that works and I'm going to need a lot of them, then I'll just coil up longer coils and put them through the ringinator. It's all good and easy. So, once again, if you've been here, this might sound redundant and you've already heard this, but I just want to make sure I let everybody know orders. If you got any orders you want from the Booga Box, make sure you get them in by next Thursday. If there's something more intense, definitely before that, give me a message and we can work out something, see if we can get it done before then. But basically, I'll still be taking orders after the 16th, but if you make it before the 16th, I can guarantee that you'll get them before Christmas. After the 16th, I can't guarantee that. I'll try my best, and whatever it is, if it's just class or something, it'll be a little bit easier. But if it's a bigger project, if it's definitely like an inlay, doubtful. I don't think I could. If it was a medium-sized inlay, I could possibly start here in the next few days, but they have to be with rings that I currently have too. That's the one thing with inlays. Sometimes I don't have, I keep quite a decent stock of rings, where I could pretty much do a whole set. I could do earrings, necklace, bracelet in pretty decent lengths, but I don't. When you've got as many rings and sizes and colors and everything that I got, I just can't keep thousands upon thousands of each of those in stock all the time. Just become infeasible to kind of be able to store all that, at least currently where I have. It'd be nice if I could, but then you're also talking about thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of stuff sitting around waiting to sell. So I normally have at least, normally 1,000 of almost every size ring and color in stock at any given time. But, with like an inlay like this, when you're talking 20,000, 1,000's not much compared. Alright, now I need to double check this next rose of green. I don't know if it's the same or not. It should be the same, but I need to double check that. Let's see here. We've done that. 3 white. So, yes, the next one is still the same. Just wanted to verify before I got too far, because I think it appears this. Is it this one that's going to change this time? Yeah. There'll be a difference on once I get to that middle of the F this time. And I guess starting in January again, hopefully we'll start seeing more of the Bracken Mail stream. He normally streams earlier than me, and that's why I picked the time I did, because I'd watch his, then there was always a break, then I'd go watch Mailwork stream. And so when I started streaming, it was like, well, I'm going to try to plug in between those two, because I don't want to stream over theirs, because I like watching them anyway. So, but hopefully Bracken Mail, he'll be back up. And they've had some issues here early in this past 30 days or so, but they've worked out some good things, and they'll be coming back bigger and strong, I hope. And hopefully we'll get some more streams from Joshua over there at Bracken Mail again. I'll start posting some links when he starts doing some streaming again and gets everything set back up. I know with it, he's totally moving property and everything, so houses and all that. So he's got a lot of work ahead of him. I don't know if he's actually taking sales right now because of where they're currently at and in the process of doing. So I used to post some of his, but once he gets back, I'll post more of his stuff again too. And if I find other streamers, I watch a lot of YouTube video of people doing chainmail, but I don't know of a whole lot of other streamers that are streaming chainmail right now. I know there probably are some. I mean, John here, he does some on occasion. He doesn't necessarily have set up days and times. He just kind of does whatever, whenever. But I'll try to catch his when I'm friends with him, so I'll catch his that way. A little easier than he doesn't have a place where I can go and subscribe to it. You know, Steampunk Garage, she does some videos here and there, but most of them are videos, and she'll post those. She likes to do the TikToks. Yeah, I'm not a TikTok fan at all. I hate TikTok. I don't even have an account with them, and so the only times I see videos of TikTok videos is when somebody's taken a TikTok video, changed it, and put it in another format and posted it on Facebook or something. It'll say TikTok on it and whatnot, but it's actually being played through Facebook, so I've never actually gone to the TikTok website. I don't, you know, I've got my own thing with them, but, you know, too many weird, crazy, those viral videos that, you know, they all seem to start on the TikTok, and then you got these stupid people drinking Tide Pods and all this other crap, all because of these short TikTok videos. It's like, yeah, that's enough to keep me away. Now, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I'll change in time. Who knows? We'll see what happens in the years to go forward, but as it is now, I just stay away from the TikTok. I know the daughters love it. They're always posting stuff on it. It's like, do you see my TikTok? I was like, no, you know. You know I won't see it unless you send it to me through another place. It doesn't link me over to it. So where we at here? We got 23 minutes. Sweet. Yeah, we can finish up this row in 23 minutes. But we'll probably close down the stream after we get this row done. We'll try to give it a quick stretch here when we're done. See if we can get it in camera angle, in our camera view. But we'll see what we can see anyway before we close up. But yeah, once we get done with this row, we'll be done for the night. Again, don't forget to give us those likes, shares, happy faces, thumbs up, hearts, whatever you feel comfortable giving us. Like I said, any of those help. Even when it's not a live stream, if you're watching the live stream later as the video, you can still like it, you can still share it. All those help in the algorithms to get us shown up on people's walls. We have a lot of subscribers, but a lot of people have told me they don't see my things post up on their wall when they go live, because, you know, Facebook algorithms, they don't visit a lot. You start minusing and seeing less of their stuff, so... But the more likes, comments, and all that happen, you start moving back up the wall list. So they don't make it easy, do they? Some days I'll get a bunch, and other days they're like, yeah, I didn't get a notification. And that's why it's a good thing if you have a YouTube or a Twitch account too, subscribe to us that way also. That'll give you 3 ways to get notifications. Because I'll tell you what, with Mailworks, that's where I get 90% of the time, I'll get an email letting me know that he's streaming to Twitch. And that's pretty much how I find out that he's streaming on a night. He doesn't have set up nights, but he's normally, you know, when there's nothing a whole lot going on, he's normally streaming, you know, 4 nights a week, 5 nights a week sometimes. But the first notification I get from anything is from Twitch through an email saying that he's streaming. Because Facebook hardly ever tells me he's streaming. Unless I go to his page, it'll say he's going live now, but it never shows up on the walls. And I'm constantly on his pages, Facebook pages, websites. I mean, I'm always over there. I don't have to have a wall post that makes me go over there. I just go check it out, see what he's posted that day. So, like I said, John's a good guy, and we chat on occasion here and there and doing stuff. Might have a little collaboration going on with him here shortly. We'll see how that works out. But hopefully he might be streaming tonight, so like I said, go over there, check it out. I know he didn't stream last night. It wasn't until about 9:15. I looked at my email going, hey, I didn't get a notification. And then I went to Facebook, went to the page, and it said no stream tonight. I was like, oh, okay, that's why I got no notification. And that's one reason why I like to kind of have my days that I've set up. So you don't always have to get notifications. Just remember, Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. That's when we'll be streaming. On occasion we don't, but I think since I've started streaming, there's only been 3 days that I didn't stream on my scheduled times. And normally it's going to have to be something somewhat, not necessarily super significant per se, but when Boomer passed away, I had to take that night off. There was just no way I was going to be able to stream that night. One other night, something else came up. We watched the grandkids that night. I think they were in the hospital. She had to go to the hospital, so we ended up having to do that. So it's only the kind of rare occasions when I wouldn't, and I always post a thing saying, you know, can't do streaming, whatever for, but alright, this is where I think I'm changing. Okay, it's still 2 white, and then 1 green. So, let's make sure we get this going correctly. Because this row and the next row kind of finishes up the center of this, and then we'll be into the full F mode. Full red through the F. So it's 2, 1, 3. Do these. 1 green. Where we at? Okay, we still got 18 minutes. We should be able to finish this up in 18. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Apollo 69.
Okay. That was a little weird. I might have to take my pliers apart. Thought I'd broke another set all of a sudden because it wasn't feeling like it got tight all of a sudden. Huh. Yeah, I might have to take these apart later tonight and see what's up, because it's definitely not feeling like they should. I mean, like they had all night up until just right then. They're a little bit better after blowing them out, so they just probably need a good cleaning. Might have to take them apart and give them a quick clean, and then they'll be back to normal, hopefully. If not, I've got several other. I think I still got 1 more of these. This style, the stubby nose. I've got my longer ones, but I've kind of gotten used to my stubby nose here this past year now, so I think it'd be hard to go back to the longer nose pliers. I'm sure I could, but I still want to use my parallel pliers more often, but they're so much more bulky and heavier. My hands get tired quicker using them. Now maybe if I just use them longer, I'll get more used to them, but they were wearing out my hands there for a while quickly. You know, normally like on these nights, we'll do a good hour of weaving, if not more. And, you know, I get sore if I'm using these, but I could barely go half an hour with those things, and they would just tear my hands up, man. Though I do like them. I like having the parallel of them. 2, 4, 6, 7, one more. Just want one. Oops. I'm glad I got them, don't get me wrong, but they're just going to take me a little while to get used to. And they've got these I love for doing my 1/4 inch down to about 5/32. These work really nice. I can get a nice bite on each side of the ring. The parallel pliers come more to a point. I thought about maybe grinding them down so I get more of this edge here. My longer nose pliers actually have a wider one, and I will use those a lot more often for like my 5/16 or my 3/8, 1/2 inch. All aluminum, of course. And when I go smaller, I've got some smaller nose. But the parallel pliers would do good with, but they're so beefy, they're hard to work in 20 gauge. 20 gauge wire in those things with the points work good for that size and small ring, but they're just so beefy. I end up using my other little ones here with my little points on them when I get down into my 20 gauge or below. Yeah, see, it's doing it again. Just gets, won't open. The spring's all fine. Those springs are still good. There's something in the jaw area. It's just, let me see here. Is it this one? Yeah, I'm going to put those to the side for now because I don't want to screw it up so there's something going wrong with it. These feel weird. They're not broken in. My padding's still all too good on it. But yeah, they're just getting too weird and not wanting to open properly, so the way I work, I need it to kind of pop open there. If I'm working with bigger stainless, I don't have those, you know, don't automatically have a spring in them to help you open, but I'll definitely have to take those apart tonight and see what's up with them. Because I can't keep working that way. These almost want to open too much. These have got the nice break-in point where they're springy, but not overly springy. The new set here, I've used them a few times, definitely got a lot more spring to it. Takes a little bit more and they want to open just a bit further. Like I said, not a bad thing, just going to take a little bit to get used to. Break them in, I guess. Like I said, I've got quite a few pairs of different pliers up here to different purposes for different things. You never know what, you know, when you're working on something, if you need a certain size, certain, you know, movement. I've got some other ones that don't have any springs in them at all. I actually have a few cheapo ones from Harbor Freight that I still do use on occasion, depending on what I'm doing, because they just come in handy. I've got a long pair of needle-nosed that I've kind of modified a little bit that I got from them that I find whenever I'm working on, actually when I'm working on my crosses, when I'm making my cross keychains and stuff, for some reason I can get into the, when I put in this two rings on the side of them, they're a little difficult to get into, but that plier, it just pops right in there and it makes it so much easier to do. So I will try different pliers on different rings at times just to see if, I guess I should have opened that. Because sometimes you just never know, something might work a little better for a certain purpose. You know, and like Jennifer and Sean, they do I don't know if they actually have a name for the way they hold their pliers. I keep trying, but it's so weird to me, and I think that's just because of the 30 years of doing it this way. Well, 25-ish years of doing it this way. That it just, I never thought about it, and then I just have a problem trying to figure out which way to actually hold it. I'm watching their videos and seeing them do them, but they'll do it like this way. And I have just a harder time seeing because I end up with shadows and stuff on my piece. And it gives you a nice hold depending on your ring because you can come across more of the side doing it this way than when you're doing it this way. But that's why I'll change up the size of my tips. And they say it's easier on your wrist to do it that way. It's just I have a hard time doing it. Everything was taking me a lot longer when I was trying to do it. Now I will do it that way on some things when I'm trying to get a ring into a tight spot or something, and I'm having a harder problem getting a hold of it, how I'd normally do it, you know, because doing it that way you can kind of get down in there sometimes. And so I have used that technique before. Even before I seen them do it, I had done it just because it was easier to close up that ring in a particular weave. But I just can't do it all the time. I mean, maybe eventually. I mean, there's a lot of things that have changed through the years. You know, I used to always hate to do, you know, one open, put a raw ring on it, and then close that one. But I've gotten better at it. I used to pre-open rings more often. I'm a little faster now when I don't pre-open rings, because every time if you're pre-opening a ring, you're picking it up, you're using the ring, you're putting it down, you're grabbing another one, so you're touching that ring multiple times when you're doing that. And so there is that little bit of time. You know, per ring, it might be half a second, but when you add that up over, you know, 1,000 rings, that half or a third of a second can add up to more and more seconds, which adds up to minutes. So I have gotten more used to that, especially this past year. I forced myself to say, okay, let's just try to go with touching that ring one time if at all possible. Now there are still sometimes I will pre-close stuff, just because sometimes it's just easier to do it and attach it while I'm using the ring that I'm opening. But for the most part, I've gotten a lot better at it, and it has sped up time. Not like I said, a ton. On a bracelet, you know, we're talking seconds, but on a necklace, we can get maybe a minute or two. On something like this, we can. I'm almost saying I could probably do things about an hour quicker now. Over a certain amount of rings, I can calculate that out for you, but I don't know it right offhand. But it's definitely, you know, before I would have pre-opened all that whole row. So I'd spend all that time. Now the row, when I go to start weaving it, would be quicker because they're already pre-opened. I don't have to grab them and open them. But the overall time between the two, I'm definitely faster just opening, weave, close than pre-open. So I'm always open to change. You never know when certain things might work better for you. But a few more here rings, and we'll stretch this out the best we can and get a view of it, and we'll close up the stream for the night once we get done with that. So we're getting there. It's getting there. Like I said, one more row. We'll finish up the center of that F, and then we'll just be filling in the rest of it. So hopefully by Monday I can have the F done, if not more. If I can get that F done by Monday, maybe we can get to the middle of the E and be halfway through by the time we have our last stream of the year on Thursday of next week. That'd be nice if we could get that far. Or further. I'd be much happier to be further. But whatever we can get done is what we get done. So, okay. So you all can go on back up here because you're going to be in the way when I try to do a stretch. And I just need two of you. So two more rings here. This will put us at 6,700 rings into this piece. About 13 shy of 100, or 13, 23 shy of, no, 20, yeah, 23, 33 shy of halfway. So we'll see how that goes. So hopefully if there's anybody here, you can check this out. Move the pliers out of the way here. Let's give this a... It's going to be hanging this way, so I got to stretch it out this way. Let me see. Can I move my rings out of the way for now? Move these on out. Maybe. Okay. Now I'll give me a little more stretchy room up top here, since I'm going to be running out of room. Like I said, that's why I'm already folding it up when I'm working on it, so that I can get to it easier. Try to just kind of level it out the best we can here. Like I said, gravity does a much better job at this than trying to pull, stretch it. But you get the basic idea. I think it's all in camera view here so far. So, I mean, if you look, you can kind of see that white outline underneath. That's 8 inches wide. So, what are we actually here? I guess I can look at my tape measure. We're almost a half. And that takes us up to about 21 and a half. So, we're about 21 inches wide. And I expect it to be a lot longer, obviously. So that's where we're going. This is what it will look like when we're done. Figure I give a quick look-see and see that F is going to be closing up here quick enough. Wanted to give a quick show of it. My paper here is getting all kinds of wrinkled up. Cats have walked on it. I've dropped it. I've stepped on it. It's been through the ringer already. But that's what we're going to do for tonight. Like I said, hopefully here soon we can get down to that. The hash mark here is where I'm going to be happy. Once we hit that halfway through this, the hash marks here, which will give most of my E will be done by then. That'll be our halfway point. It'll be nice to be that far and finally know it's closing in to being done. So anyway, I want to thank everybody again for joining us tonight. I always have a fun time, even if I'm talking to myself. The wife will agree with that. She hears me talk to myself all the time. So, if you're watching this live, you're watching this later, it's all great. Leave any comments and likes, shares, anything like that during the stream, after the stream, it's all good. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Since the last day of the week we stream, I hope you all have a great weekend. We'll stream one more week next week before we close down for the end of the year and come back in January. So, hope you all have a great night. I hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll check you out on Monday. Peace.